Welcome back! It's been ages and ages since we did our Bali part 1, but I've been pestered by several people about it, so we are currently on a train in our car on a train, headed through a tunnel to get to Lauterbrunnen, Switzerland, which you'll see in the Switzerland vlog. So we figured, hey, why not go ahead and do the Bali vlog, part 2, whilst on our journey under a tunnel, because we were given no instructions as to how long this journey would be. So here we are. Let's get started. So as you remember, last time we ended with our journey in Uluwatu, and we had taken a small reprieve to Nusa Penida. We had 3 wrecks. We'd done a lot of swimming, and now we are headed to Ubud. So Robert, you have the steel trap of a memory. Tell us what we did in Ubud.
Well, you're going to have to help, too.
Well, okay.
So we had our trusty driver, Ketut.
Great guy.
Who took us from Ubud up to...
No, Uluwatu.
Or from Uluwatu up to Ubud, where we were staying in, like, one of the most incredible Airbnbs we've ever been in. And it was a little bit north of Ubud city center, so, like, maybe a 15-minute scooter ride.
Not even.
Yeah. And it was this, like, Russian guy.
He was Russian, but he lived in, like, Egypt.
In Cairo for a bit.
And then he moved here and married a Balinese woman.
Like 20 years ago.
They had some kids, and he had built, like, he bought all this land, and he slowly started building these, like, cabins out of repurposed doors and frames and windows and, like, all these different pieces of wood. And they were so cool. You'll see a picture. It was like a jungle oasis type thing, and so we had like these 2 main cabins and then like one big romantic cabin, and then one big cabin in the middle for like yoga or massages or healing ceremonies or whatever.
Overlooked the jungle.
And it all overlooked the jungle, and there was like this well water tub that was like neck deep that you could get into, and there was like beanbags and stuff, and our bed had a net. That was one of my requirements, was that the bed, like the Airbnb had a net bed, because I wanted to feel very cool and like Swiss Family Robinson style. And
they would bring our breakfast, and the breakfast was...
Oh, it was divine. And it was, Robert got like a smoothie bowl. I got eggs and sourdough and gluten-free sourdough. Everything, I don't know if I said this in the last one, but Bali was really great if you had any dietary restrictions, because they were like hyper aware, because they're all about internal peace and health and whatever. And so being gluten-free, they could do it for you. They're like, yeah, of course.
Vegan,
sure.
Anything.
Oh, you're lactose intolerant? We can make it with oat milk or whatever. Like, when you ordered a coffee, because when I travel, I drink coffee to keep myself regular. And they, not that I need it, but they would say, like, oh, what kind of milk? And I'm like, I don't know, from a cow? Whatever milk you have. So, but the place was beautiful. And our guy was like, if you guys want to do yoga, if you want to do a healing ceremony, whatever, like you just
singing bowl,
let me know. And we were like, oh, okay. So we did end up doing yoga, like...
Yeah, we did yoga that morning.
The first morning we were there. This guy, I swear he could levitate. Like, he was so in peace.
He had monk vibes.
I kept, like, peeking out to see if he was, like, floating when we meditated. I fell asleep. I was bit by a bug in the ear.
Yeah, but we did that later. We did the yoga in the morning.
Yeah.
And then we took the scooter and we went up to these rice terraces.
Oh, yeah.
Which was, I mean, it was so hot. But we got there somewhat early and it wasn't very crowded.
I took a picture on, like, the swing thing with this dress. It's very much a tourist attraction, and that's fine. I was totally okay being a tourist for that. Absolutely. Yeah,
but it's these terrace rice fields that just go on and on for like miles.
I felt like all the movies about the Vietnam War, that's what I felt like I was in. Just like rice fields.
Yeah, and Ellie got in this dress, and like this old Balinese man was pushing her on a swing.
You need to be way louder.
Yeah. I hope it's on. Like, can they hear us? Should we check?
We just wanted to make sure we were being loud enough, because the train in this tunnel is quite loud, but I think it's fine. If it's not, bummer. Oh well. Anyway, we went up to the rice terraces, and then from the rice terraces we went to
the water temple.
Yeah.
Impul water, the Titra Impul water temple.
And so we did like this whole ceremony. We like waited in line for hours. And it was
literally, yeah. You walk in, and and there are different layers of sacredness within the temples, and so anyone can go in the first layer, and then the second layer you have to just be a little bit more aware. But then the third layer you have to wear a sarong,
just like a skirt.
Sarong. And for men, it's a silk skirt, and for women, they can like put it up around their neck and just cover all that.
So we wanted to do the water like purifying ceremony. It started pouring down rain, which was actually super cool.
And we were in line with this German girl who had lived in India studying yoga.
She was like, yeah, when I got here, the energy was bad, so I just stayed in my room for a couple days to get my energy right. And I was going, you must have a lot of time if you can just, like, decide the energy's bad and not go outside for 3 days in, like, paradise. But we finally, and there was, like, a cute Australian family in front of us, and they were funny because the kid was, like, he was, like, 16, and I was like, oh, I'm freezing. He was like, the water will be warm, the water will be warm. And then he got into the water before me, and he was like, yeah, it's warm. And then I got in, and I was like, you are a liar. He was like, I'm sorry, it's really cold.
It started raining when we were probably 20 minutes from getting into the water, so it was just a long, slow-moving line. And when we get into the little section where you can start seeing the water, it starts lightning and thundering and torrential downpour.
Like
and
proper rainforest rain.
Yeah. God, my ears are
so
popping from this. And it was cool. It just was really cold before we got in. But then once we got into the water, it was
freezing.
It was electrifying. I mean, maybe because of the lightning in the air. I don't know. But it was quite impressive to be in this ancient pool. I think it was built in the 8th century. It has the original like lion's heads that the waters are coming out of. And
they're like underground water. It's like spring water coming out.
And it's pouring down rain. It's lightning and thundering. The energy of the pool itself is already charged. So
there's koi fish in the pool.
Yeah, they're like swimming in between your legs and stuff.
And the German girl had a guide, and so he was telling her like what to do at each like station, like how to pray or what to say or what to do or whatever. And so we were just eavesdropping, and he kind of became the tour guide for like the whole little area, because we were like, so what do we do here, and what's this part and what's this part? So you had like a certain ceremony you did with like you wash your mouth, you wash your face, you wash your head, and then you like say certain things or like think certain things.
You have to make a wish in each one. You can either make the same wish and build up and charge the energy behind that wish, or you can make a bunch of small ones.
And then there was like a couple that were off limits because they were death ones.
Yeah, and this lady was like, "Oh, I want to go do the death one."
And the guy was like,
"Please don't. Please do not touch that." She's like, "Well, I just want to do it in honor of somebody who's died." And he's like, "No, that is, if you touch that, you are inviting death to enter your being, and you will die."
And she was
okay.
We were like, we won't touch it, we swear. So we like swam actively very around it. This one girl had a dragonfly in her hair the whole time.
But the local community will bring people who are dying or close to death, and they will do their water ritual at the death one to invite death.
So we did that. That took like 45 minutes, like the whole, because you had to wait in line to each fountain, and you went to like 8.
No, there was like 15.
Whatever.
Yeah,
we went to a lot. And there's like a whole nother set of pools you had to do.
Yeah, and then the other pool, you have to think of something in your past that you're ashamed of or you don't like, then you think about it, and then you go to the next one, and then you think of the future, and to get that out of your mind and to think ahead.
It was interesting because he was like, just make sure you're not doing something for someone else, because like you need to be doing this for you, and the thoughts need to be about you, because someone else might have other like wants and desires, and you don't want to impose that energy on them. Yeah. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I've never thought of it that way. We're obviously out of the tunnel now. Never thought of it that way before. But after that, it was still raining, so we
went to like a really bad restaurant after that.
I was so Robert never gets hungry. I was so hungry, and so I was like, just stop at the first restaurant. It was that we shouldn't have done that. It was really gross, but whatever. What did we do after that?
And then we went into Ubud and walked around the market a bit.
Then we went to like the opera thing.
Yeah.
There was like it wasn't an opera, it was like a symphony with dances.
It was a traditional Balinese, but it's like the equivalent of an opera, but through dance.
It's very interesting. They can do this thing with their eyes where they like go side to side, and it was like very intense, and they can make their fingers look like they like flutter. It was cool. It was very, very interesting. I don't think we took a video of it though. Both of our phones at that point had pretty much died.
Then the next day we went to, we did yoga.
Yeah.
At the Ubud Yoga House, which was really it was a really cute place. I think you go the waterfall.
I thought Ubud Yoga House.
You
was
go
like
in
hot yoga.
No, you go in to the city center, and you can just park your scooter or take it down these really narrow roads that I'm talking are maybe this wide. There's 6 inches on either side for the wheel.
I literally can't see your other hand.
Oh, yeah, like that. And you go down it, and then there's a little rice paddy field, and there's this open gazebo that's the Ubud Yoga House. And so we did that, and then we went and we found our usual really great place for breakfast.
We did the same thing for breakfast every single day. It was because I was like, breakfast is my most important meal. I do not care about lunch, and dinner is whatever, but I have to have a good breakfast. So we went to the same place, Suko, every single day, so I could get my smoothie and my eggs and I got a smoothie and eggs, and I got one other thing, but I don't remember what it was. It was really yummy.
Yeah, it was,
yummy.
Yeah, it was
Chef's
good.
kiss.
And it was the same place in Uluwatu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, same place.
And then we went to a waterfall that was maybe like a 30-minute drive from Ubud on scooter, and it's another water cleansing purification ritual. But this time, instead of it being out of like a dragon's mouth, you go underneath a waterfall through canyons and everything.
It was very Indiana Jones because they'd like carved the stone a bajillion years ago into like the shape of snakes. So it was like you were like going into a snake's mouth, and then there's like snake pillars and stuff. And there was different like gods you like provided offerings for.
Yeah, they gave you like 12 or something different offering plates that had
like
herbs,
there was food and herbs and flowers and incense. And so like to each one you would just give it as an offering. It was very interesting. And then there's these two waterfalls that are side by side. And the first one you like scream or cry into 3 times. And the second one you like laugh and dance and sing. So it's like getting all your negative energy out and then bringing all the positive energy back in. And that was lovely. So we danced.
It was amazing. Yeah, we did it together.
Mm-hmm.
It was great.
And then that's when we came back and we did that's this eclipse night, right?
Yeah.
So.
We found an Italian restaurant that was chef's kiss.
It was really, really good. So I went every single night. Robert one night wanted bolognese. I said, that's fine. And so we went and got him bolognese at like a top-rated restaurant, and then...
It wasn't that great, yeah.
It wasn't that good. And then we just went... Because it's all spicy, and Robert can't do that.
Yeah, so I asked for it without spice, and it had no flavor.
Not as good that way. Okay, we're moving. We'll tune back in. Robert, right before the camera, someone said, wait, what are we talking about? Hi, we're back. So we got off the train. Anyway, where were we? We were with Bali. We had just talked about going under the waterfall. Going under the waterfall.
Yeah, so we did the
spiritual waterfall.
Yeah, and then after that we went to the sacred monkey forest.
Oh my God, we did.
But we on the way back it started pouring down rain. Well,
it was already raining.
No. It was about to absolutely downpour. I mean, we were looking at the sky and it was just darkness, and it was the middle of the day, and so we were like, we need to find somewhere to go. So we pull into Ubud, and we spot a pizza place right across from the sacred monkey forest, and of course Ellie was like, pizza. It's like she had a nose. Yeah,
pizza. It was good.
Yeah, and it was really good. It was like Neapolitan style pizza. Very delicious.
It didn't rain.
And
it did rain.
Yeah, we get in, and as soon as we sit down, all the restaurants in Bali are outdoor but undercover. And as soon as we get under the cover, it's just the heavens open and
deluge.
It's just,
we were like, oh, we came in at the right time.
So then we sit and wait, and then it lets up, and then so we're like, okay, we're gonna go try and brave the drizzle. And so we go to the sacred monkey forest, and walking in, there are signs that say Yeah, please do not touch the monkeys. Please do not pick them up. Please do not
engage with them.
No,
Don't
please,
look at them in the eyes.
Yeah, don't look them directly in the eye. Don't freak out if they jump on you or whatever. We're like,
they're gonna take your phone. They're gonna take your glasses.
Yeah. Take your glasses off. And this isn't like a zoo.
No,
it's
woods.
It's an ancient temple that's in the middle of this jungle
that they've surrendered to the monkeys.
Yeah, that I guess I don't know at what point in history the monkeys won the war, but they took it over.
But they did. They won it. And they're like, but they're not baboons.
I don't know what kind they are, but they're monkeys. And we were walking.
At first, you're like, oh look, they're in the trees. Oh look, oh my God, they're right there.
Yeah, and then we were walking, and then one comes up the little like rail, and it just and then stops, looks at LAB, and
I was like, it's looking at me, it's looking at me, it's looking at me,
and then just launches onto her back.
And I was like, and of course, Robert's like, just be cool, it's fine. And I was going,
I was like, because we all know LAB. LAB can be quite spastic at times.
Me?
I mean, have you ever seen her see a cockroach?
Okay, that's different. Anyway, it was a monkey. It was cute. It was like a teenage monkey.
And it sat on her little back.
This Spanish lady was like, just be calm and it'll go away. And I'm going, biatch, I have a monkey. And it's like touching my hair. And it's like unzipping my bag. And Robert's like, it's fine. I was like, I can feel it going zip, 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 unzipping my bag. And like, I've got my passport in there. I don't need it running away with my documents. Robert's like, smile, smile. Like, it'll be so cute, smile. And I'm like, so I think like the best picture we have, you'll see as I'm like,
she's like,
yeah.
So then we walk around there. There are monkeys.
So cute.
Everywhere.
One
like swinging from the trees. We see baby monkeys with mothers and everything. It was great. And then after that, we went to this like ancient demon temple that was just this demon mouth.
Oh yeah, it was kind of weird.
Open in a rock face, and you walk into the mouth. It was
And it was like a tunnel, and then a tunnel. There was it was like people were buried there or something. Nothing crazy. Sorry, we're exhausted. Nothing crazy.
Then we go back, and we have to be ready for our healing crystal session, which
therapy.
are Nepali singing bowls.
Yeah,
and
like
we will be laid out in geometrical chakra crystals
per gender, per whatever. And originally it was supposed to be at 11, like at the moon's fullest or whatever. Because remember, we were at that cool Airbnb. And the guy was like, do you mind if we do it at 9? And we were like, yeah, sure. And we get there, we're like, oh, are you excited for the eclipse? And he was like, as you know. First of all, the answer is no. We did not know. But it was, as you know, the spirit...
It has been advised.
As you know, evil spirits are let loose during lunar eclipses.
No, when he said it's the most rare time in human history. In the last 2,000 years, it has not happened. But now all 8 planets will be aligning. And when the planets align in this way, it's the only time that the universe is exposed to dark forces.
As you know.
As you know.
And we were like...
And it has been advised that we seek shelter during this time.
To which Robert and I responded with, advised by whom? And who is telling you this information? Like, what TV channel are you watching that we aren't? So
anyway, we sit down, and he has these crystals in a box with a line, like in a square with a line going in the middle, making 2 rectangles.
One for me, one for Robert.
Yeah, and there's like a mat with a blanket and some eye coverage,
like heavy eye patches.
A weighted eye patch. And behind those are 15 to 25 silver bowls that he has set up, like, I don't know, like Christmas handbells back there.
Yeah, but we're like covered in this, like...
But he takes a stick and he runs it on the rims of the bowls, and it makes this incredible like diatonic sound of like two pitches somehow. I don't know how it works.
There was one that like my whole body like got chills and I like locked up, and afterwards I was like, yeah, there was this one I didn't like, and he came really close to my ear and he was like, the bowls will do that too.
Yeah, and same thing happened for me, but with a different bowl. I mean, my entire body just like started tingling and like everything fell asleep.
And then when we get done, we're like trying to ask him about the bowls and the crystals, and he was like, I would love to answer your questions, but tomorrow. And then he dead sprints to his house up in the jungle because of the eclipse. And so Robert and I were like, so we dead sprint to our cabin, and we're like hiding in the curtains of the bed, like, oh, what's happening? We don't know. And then we went to sleep.
Yeah. Then the next day I went to yoga again. Yeah. I went by myself to yoga.
No, we went to the hotel. You went to yoga when we were in the hotel by ourselves.
No. We went to this next day I went to yoga by myself in the morning. We had breakfast and we had to get our luggage from our Airbnb to the hotel. So the hotel sent someone to come pick it up. And that guy tried to convince us, let me drive you wherever you're going today as well. And we were going to go do waterfalls that day in the north. And it was like 2 hours or 2.5 hours north over a volcano. And I was like, yeah, that sounds great. We don't have to sit on our scooter for a grand total of 5 hours today. Would be great. So I tell the guy, you wait here. My wife's eating breakfast. I'll go get her and we'll be on our way. I go down. I tell LAB, hey, great news. We have secured transportation. It's very cheap. It's in a van. It's nice. And we don't have to do anything. And then he'll take us straight to the hotel after. LAB goes, nope, I don't want that. I want a scooter.
I wanted to be able to stop and see things and decide to do something else and not be stuck with some random guy in a van. Hello, Murderberg.
Yeah. Well,
we went to the waterfall.
Yeah, we go to the waterfall. I mean, it's a long
We had
way.
two or three we were gonna go to. We had the one the furthest away that was like our main goal, and then two like coming back into town that were like, if we have time, if it's not raining, because it did rain. And so we went there. The drive was fine. I mean, we were sore, and we had to like walk down all these stairs and down all these trails or whatever to go to these, and we're supposed to like take a guide, and we were like, we don't want a guide, and they're like, no, here, you need a guide, and we were like, we don't want that. So I think
we kind of broke the law actually, because I think you need a guide,
it was, like,
but
required,
we didn't.
But we were kind of like, we don't want that. We were like, thanks anyway, and we just ran away from him. So we sprinted down to these waterfalls.
It's like 600 steps down.
The first one was very tall. And it was cool, but you couldn't get very close to it just because it was just tall and broad, and it was like, there was no...
I slipped and fell, but it was fine.
I forgot that. Robert ate absolute shiitake mushrooms, and I was like, oh, he just broke his arm, because he just like, boom, boom, boom.
I had a massive bruise on my forearm.
Are you showing them? From 4 months ago? He like, boom, 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 like kept sliding into the water, and I was like, oh, there he goes.
Got up, I'm okay.
He's like, I'm fine.
But I had a strawberry, like a lump.
Yeah, it was like this like thing. And then the next waterfall was like right around the corner. There was a spider the size of my face in the tree.
A small boulder the size of a large boulder.
Exactly. And this waterfall was gorgeous. It was so beautiful. There was a deep pool around it. The people who were like right there in front of us, they were like, we're going to get naked. And we were like, ha. And then they got naked. And we were like, oh, well... Okay, so they like swam over to like the furthest edge, and then I was like, well, I want to get naked. Like, if they're getting naked, I want to get naked. So we like swam in and then like took our bathing suits off and like swam around and put our bathing suits back on. And I was like, oh, I feel so cool. But like, I'm not getting out, but I'll swim around.
But I felt like I was a phone charged into an electrical outlet, just like the energy from the water and I don't know, the pool. It was unbelievable.
It was amazing. And then we left the waterfall behind. I was like, I could do this all day long. And we like swam in the cold water. Started pouring rain. And we were like, that's fine. Like, we're already wet, whatever. We'll head to the next waterfall. But it was like back up the mountain.
And when we say up a mountain,
like, these are the roads.
Imagine a golf cart path and
So
make it even more like
it's
yeah.
narrower than a golf cart path.
And,
it's like 1 car and a half
and
cars.
it's a 2-way street where cars can go as well.
And so we
and
went.
It's steeper than the switchbacks at Grandfather where I ran the Bear, which whoever's been there should know that is these switchbacks are incredibly steep. And so as we were going up, it was pouring down rain. The roads were very, very slick. And we turned one, and then it was too steep for the bike that it started sliding back down, and then we like flipped off the back. It was terrifying.
We went
We're
like if the roads were like this,
I was going here, and then
you made it to like here.
Yeah, and then started sliding.
And then
back
instead of like going like around and down, it like tipped over.
Yeah.
And then it like crashed.
We're gonna breeze
past it because we both still get really like shaky about it, and it like really stresses us out. I won't be able to sleep because I'll be thinking about it all night.
But we then like I don't know, 30 maybe an hour later we come
because we still had, mind you, this was the worst of our
mountain.
crash. It was our last crash. It was our worst crash. I ended up spraining my wrist. Robert took with his leg took off the like. So Robert has like foot spots, and I have these little pegs that sit on the side of the the little like moped that I can like set my legs on. So I'm sitting behind Robert with my legs on these things. Robert's shin took off the leg peg. So I was just hovering my right leg over the ground.
And we still had half the mountain to get over.
And we still had, 2 hours.
Yeah.
Left.
And so we get to the top of the mountain, and there is a village of maybe 5 buildings.
Yeah, 100 people.
One of which looks like it's been burned down recently, maybe.
Or maybe like under construction.
And we show up. We are in the middle of nowhere. And we show up. There's about 400 people in a semicircle.
Listening to
in the middle of the road. And on the backside is a sheer drop-off. And then in front of the semicircle is
like
the burned down area
with like
these
debris
3 old people sitting on like a makeshift stage in a rubble field.
Rubble. Debris.
No, everyone is staring at us.
As we
everyone's staring at us. Yet they are all like kind of continuing whatever it is that they're doing, and nobody speaks English. We just kind of are getting there, and I'm like expecting people to move out of the way. They don't. And so then I tell Ellie B, hey, get off. You walk through, and some people were guiding us to go through the rubble field to be able to get around the crowd. And so they then guide me to the front where the 3 older people in their traditional clothing are set up on this makeshift rubble stage. I look back out of the audience, back at the 3 guys. Everyone is dead silent. I mean, dead silent. And I just do a little one of these, and everyone erupts into cheering. I have no idea what happened. I don't really think we will ever be able to find out what happened.
What was going on.
But I then scootered on, and LB got on, and we left.
Because I walked. I was like, I'm going to walk through this pile of debris. I don't think I'm going to scooter through it. I was still in shock.
And then it poured the whole drive home.
I was freezing. And Robert was like, so do you want to go to the other waterfall? And I was like, no, my arm is in pieces.
So then we get back to the hotel.
We lost one of the mirrors to the motorbike. I'm holding the mirror. I'm holding the footstool. We're covered in mud. Disgusting, wet, soggy. My arm hurts. Robert's shin has like a grapefruit-sized ball of pain. And we get to the hotel.
And the people are like, are you sure you're staying here?
And we're staying. Because we moved from the Airbnb to a hotel because the Airbnb was out. And we decided, okay, we do want to stay in Ubud. We like being here. It's all very relaxed. You can just kind of flip between places. So we're like, okay, we want to stay at the hotel for at least 2 nights, whatever, before we go to Nusa Penina for 2 nights. 2 nights or 1 night? 2 nights. We're going to have to do that as a separate one. Like a whole separate one. And so we got back and we were like checking in and like we probably looked shell shocked. Soaking wet, covered in dirt. I mean, I had dirt like on my like right here from the our bike is ruined. I'm holding the mirror to the bicycle.
Our rain jackets are soaked through.
And like disgustingly muddy.
Yeah.
We're trekking in mud everywhere we go. And they were like, we're like, that's our stuff over there. And they were like, okay.
Yeah, and then we shower and then we go eat there and it's terrible.
It's terrible.
Yeah, and then we go to bed really early.
Well, they said it was a buffet. And so I was like,
well, we were too tired to go anywhere else.
And I wasn't getting back on the motorcycle.
Yeah.
And the Marriott was like kind of in a rice field. So like, where are you going to go?
So then
we just crashed.
So then I went a second time by myself to the Ubud Yoga house and it was glorious. The guy I don't know what he did. He just said instead of looking at where you're going, just put your head in your stomach and you can go. And I could touch my toes, no problem. Unbelievable. This man.
Where did we do hot yoga?
I know, we're getting there. And so I did that, and then we ended up going to Zuka for breakfast.
So good.
And then we went and we had a spa day. The spa day was incredible.
It was like a 3-hour ordeal. We got Balinese massages, and then they filled this pool up.
But it was at this like wild.
Yeah, it was like at a bougie hotel that was like.
We had to walk a mile to get to the freaking spa. It was not handicap accessible.
No, it was not. We had to walk
take an elevator like down 10 stories to the jungle.
Like at a rock face. So then they you get like a ginger shot or some shot of like fruit juices, and then you have to like smell the different body scrubs.
They let you
and
smell all the different stuff.
And you have to decide which ones you want. And then you get like a cold towel, which I kind of wiped everything with because I was really still in shock. And then we did a couple's massage.
Then they walk you along this river through the middle of the jungle, and they take us up and we get changed and everything.
Big room.
Then they lay us down and they do like this amazing massage.
Full massage.
And then a salt body scrub.
Which I wasn't a fan of. I was like, oh, this is itchy. Nice. And then they like slough it off of you.
Yeah. And then they fill up this huge tub with rose petals and water.
Like milky warm water.
Yeah, it was like a milky water.
And rose petals. But they wash your feet first.
It was great. So we had a very, very,
some tea.
very, very relaxing afternoon.
Yes, much needed because I was still not doing great mentally. It's at this point that I texted my dad and was like, hey, Dad, if someone breaks their arm, how would they know? And he was like, he didn't even ask questions. He was like, does it hurt? Put some ice on it. Keep compression. Take a Tylenol. Drink water. And I was like, great news. No question. No, are you all right? How did it happen? He was just like, drink water, Advil, Tylenol, ice. See how you feel in a few days. I'm like, great news. Mom was like, why didn't you tell me? And I'm like, because Dad didn't ask any questions. That's why I asked Dad. Dad was like, she'll figure it out. She's a grown-up. Tylenol. I'm like, great news. Thanks, Ben. Go team.
Then we went and walked around the market.
Oh, when we found these things we liked, they were like these discs in several sizes. We convinced them if we bought all 3, it would be cheaper. And they were like, okay. And we were like, oh, what's it for? Like, is it like traditional designs? And they were like, no, it's just pretty. We were like, oh, it is pretty. So now we have these 3 large Balinese, large, medium, small Balinese discs that like look like they're some ancient something, and they're not. They're just pretty. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
And then
the next morning we did hot yoga.
I don't even know what we did for dinner that night. I have no idea. It's been too long.
Yeah, we went and walked.
We did a lot of walking, obviously. But the next morning was the morning before we went to
Nusu
Nuna Penina, which will have to be another one because this is already 21 minutes long and the other ones are long. So, but hot yoga, Robert's like, we can do hot yoga. And I was like, I've never done this before.
Bikram yoga.
We were not prepared.
It was at the Ubud Yoga Center, and it looks like, imagine a post-apocalyptic city like a parking garage.
Yeah.
Because
but
it's like center blocked where the floors are just hollowed out.
Yeah, like a parking garage.
And there's grass on top on the terrace, and like grass overgrowing all the stuff. It was really wild.
And the room was like freaking 95 degrees.
Really hot.
We had not hydrated properly.
Really hot.
And the guy was like...
It was like military precision of, okay, this move, okay, this move, okay.
He was like, all right, everybody take a breath in. Now I'm going to... And he was like saying all these things so fast. I'm trying to follow what he's doing, but like I can't breathe. I have only been sweatier like 3 times in my life, and all 3 times was at a mission trip, 2 of which was in Hollywood, South Carolina in July on a roof. One of was in El Salvador on a mission trip in July. And then this was was the 4th.
I didn't like Bikram yoga because it takes away the intentionality and the meditative aspect of it, because it was very fast. It wasn't it was uncomfortable, but not uncomfortable in the way that regular like vinyasa or another type of practice could make the uncomfortable aspect be the intentional thing. But this was just bullshit.
Well, we don't curse on here.
Yeah.
I didn't like it because it was hot as hell, and I was pouring, so everything was wet, and is that a bee?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it's a bee! It's a bee! No, it's not. It's a stink bug. There's a stink bug in her room. And
like I said earlier, she's quite spastic.
The guy in front of me, we got in there and he was already wet. So, like soaking wet. So every time he would do a move really quickly, I was getting slung in the face with his body juice. And I like halfway through, I was like, Robert, I gotta get out of here. Like, we gotta get out of here. And he was like, no, we can do it. And I was like, I'm going to die. I'm going to drop dead off this floor.
And then we went back to the hotel, and I think we get back to the hotel, showered, and then we went back to Zuka.
And then we went back for
breakfast place.
Because we were gonna go, hot yoga to breakfast, and then we were like, no, everything was wet.
And then Ellie B decided, I'm gonna chop all my hair off, and we went on the epic quest.
Yet epic yet fruitless
quest for someone that could cut her hair. I mean, and I wouldn't even say a quest for a hair salon. We went on a quest for anyone with scissors.
You talked me into it, and there was no one. I mean, nobody. We'd walk in and be like, "Hi, can I get a haircut?" And they'd be like,
went to 8 different places.
You or him? And I'm like, me. And they're like, no. Him? Yeah. Me? No. I'm like, okay, that's rude. We went into one place and I was like, haircut? Like haircut? And they were like,
oh, 1 second.
1 second. And then the guy walks out, talks to like 3 random people, comes back in and is like, yeah, haircut. And I was like, oh, great. It's okay. So I sat down because my hair had grown since I cut it in the April before. And so I sat down and the guy brushes the bag. This child
he walks
comes
up,
in.
He gets the...
He picks up the hairbrush.
Yeah, the hairbrush, and look this way. And he looks at the...
Here you go. Here's your hairbrush.
Yeah, he looks at the... Well, he has like a bag.
That he just like picked up off the wall.
Like one of these like torture things that you roll out, and it has all the different tools. And he like rolls it out, and he looks at it for a solid 15 seconds.
And I'm looking at him in the mirror like...
Looks at LAB, looks back, looks at LAB, looks back, and hesitantly grabs a brush. And then he walks up to LAB and he goes...
I can't even see what you're doing, but I know it's exactly what he did. I mean, he's not brushing any of my hair.
And LAB is looking at me in the mirror. And then he walks over to the scissors.
The scissor belt.
And he pulls out a pair of scissors and he goes... Looks at LAB, looks back. And then LAB and I make eye contact and everybody goes, I'm sorry.
I was like, no, I'm sorry. I'm panicking. I love my hair. And I just put out every possible excuse. And I bolted out of there. I mean, I bolted. Because this man looked like he had never even held a brush before. And he was going to cut my hair.
Let alone scissors.
Incorrect. It was that was a no.
And that's how we ended Ubud.
And that's how we ended Ubud. Our next stop was Nusa Penida, and I know I said Bali was going to be 2 parts. It's going to now be 3 parts because we're tired and we're leaving in like 10 hours from here. So this is it. Bali part 2. Get ready for Bali part 3. Bye.